Hey, my name is Dr. Shannon, and I'm very excited to be teaching the course Ethics and Law for International Managers this summer at the JAMK School of Applied Sciences in beautiful Jyväskylä, Finland. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a lecturer of law at the State University of New York College at Oneonta, a liberal arts college a few hours north of New York City, where I teach business and commercial law and also coordinate the internship and career development for the School of Economics and Business. Prior to becoming a lecturer, in addition to being an attorney in New York, I spent 20 years in Manhattan, in New York City, working for a multinational corporation, negotiating multi-million dollar contracts. I bring a combination of academic and professional real world experience to the classroom, which I think you will come to appreciate. So, what can you expect from ethics and law for international managers, the course I will be teaching this summer? First, fun. Learning should be fun, interesting, and engaging. If there's one product that all students share in common, it is clothing, fashion. But clothing is not simply a product, clothing is a cultural commodity that transcends all and it is a driving force for the international global trade and the sale of goods. A fundamental element of the production, distribution, and sale of clothing that a global business manager must concern themselves is the law of contracts. Contract law is unavoidable, but is also an exciting part of a successful manager's responsibility, and they need to understand the ethics and law of contracts. Contracts are not boring. They are strategic documents that outline the relationship and obligations, duties, and responsibilities between individuals and organizations, and they must be taken into consideration the variety of variables and possibilities when negotiating a contract. From labor and employment contracts to transportation, distribution, and retail contracts, the supply chain and the entire process of clothing, from its production to shipping to sales, is permeated with contracts. Contract law is an essential area of business that all managers must understand, and apparel and clothing industry is a wonderful window and an opportunity for us to explain and understand contract law because clothing and fashion are fun, and we all partake in buying clothes and wearing them. The course is designed to provide you with a basic understanding and appreciation for contract law, the global clothing industry, and will provide you with the opportunity to consider a variety of contracts and the life cycle of clothing, particularly fast fashion. Within the framework of traditional ethics, cultural considerations, corporate social responsibility, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the United Nations contracts for international sale of goods, we will explore a number of issues including sustainable sourcing, labor and employment concerns, globalization, and the overall issues of sustainability in the supply chain and take into consideration environmental and labor concerns. The first part of the course will address ethical frameworks, cultural considerations, corporate social responsibility, and the UN sustainability goals as they relate to the distribution and sale of clothing and provide the necessary common language for the class to effectively discuss ethical issues and international business manager may encounter in contract discussions. We will utilize case studies, have group discussions, where we discuss relevant ethical issues for today. The second part of the course will address the fundamentals of contract law, focusing on a variety of contracts, in particular the United Nations Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, employment contracts within the context of the supply chain management, and the fashion industry. Students will study contract law using case studies, role play, and work on team projects in which teams will draft contracts from the perspective of different stakeholders in the process. The third part of the course addresses different cultural perspectives to contract formation and the types of remedies and dispute resolution mechanisms available when the contracts break down and there's a breach of contract. And finally, student teams will present their case studies, the contracts they drafted, the issues they confronted, and the solutions they recommend for improving fashion and clothing with the goal of sustainability in the contracting process. Upon completion of the course, you will be able to describe traditional ethical frameworks, cultural considerations, as well as the United Nations sustainability goals. You will be able to understand and describe the elements necessary to create a legally enforceable contract. You will appreciate the difference between labor and employment contracts, sales contracts, and a variety of other contracts in the supply chain. You will have a better understanding of your own country's contract law and issues, and develop a better understanding of the issues as it relates to the global apparel and clothing industry. It'll help you to understand cultural influences in contract negotiations, formations, and dispute resolutions. And ultimately, it'll provide you the foundational understanding of contract law for whatever you decide to pursue in the future, your business endeavors. In addition to the interesting classroom experience, you'll have the opportunity to enjoy Jyväskylä, Helsinki, Tallinn, Estonia, Stockholm, Sweden, and St. Petersburg, Russia. Having visited all these cities last summer, I can tell you, you're going to have a great summer. I'm looking forward to meeting you this summer, and I hope you will consider taking my course, Ethics and Law for the International Manager. Should you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to contact me. Safe travels, and I look forward to seeing you in Helsinki. Kiitos!